0-2ers to the 2-2ers,
Right,
right?
right.
I love to see them play because there are stakes here,
Oh, yeah.
right? These people are playing to go somewhere in the bracket that they've never gone before. We'll get to see that. Now, that is not the case for Meek, who is definitely one of the skilled players down from the southern side of Texas as well. I can't remember if it's Austin or somewhere even further down than that. Jackharambe, I cannot say I've ever seen before, but coming at it with the Marth.
Ooh.
I'm always interested to see what somebody can bring to the table with this character because we always think that somebody is just inches away from solving the way to play him and rocket him above Lucina.
Right, right. Constantly inches from the goal line, but no one's really been able to make that extra leap so far, but, you know, today could be the day. Already some really great ideas from the start of the game, but just some slight misses because of some great spacing from Meek, but jackharambe definitely has some of the ideas in play. I think Meek, though, is warming up a little bit. Another fantastic up special out of shield, a great tool for Link, and a whole lot of knockback on that.
Yeah, this is exactly what we expect from, again, somebody seasoned like Meek. Meek is definitely, I've made PR in region and everything like that. And personally, I think it's a treat to watch Big Link because there are some, you know, combos and stuff that's a little too tried and true. I'm not too interested to see it anymore. But custom stuff like this is why I'm always excited.
That was such a good adaptation right there. Up smash not going to take it even after all of those extra hits and knockback, but I love that improvisation with the bomb extension, so great. And we see this boomerang coming back, that returning hit, almost even more dangerous than the original hit that comes out. Edgeguard opportunity here. Oh, what a good bait. Just see drops the bomb going off with the nair, so very smart.
Yeah, Link definitely has some crazy ledge trap setups where sometimes you just kind of got to hold what he's got. Love that idea from Jack right there to try to get something started with the shield breaker, maybe get a poke going. But right now, I mean, this is kind of the problem with Marth, especially against a character that controls space a little bit better than he does, is how are you going to get in that precise zone where you're actually going to get those potential crazy setups that lurk under the hood of this character?
Right, we've seen some shades of it so far, but not really finding the mark. The tippers are just a little shy from hitting Link. And Meek is definitely capitalizing, using that opportunity to run away and set up all of these really intricate bomb and boomerang setups. But Jack's trying to look for a stock right now. Oh, it's so dangerous.
That bomb out there actually gets knocked away by the nair, but you always got to be ready for the scoops with that up B. Meek getting off to a hot start in this game number one.
Yeah, I think it was not bad to start off. I think it was a little, you know, neutral, kind of feeling each other out for both players at the beginning, and I think Jack looked pretty good, but like I said, just some slight misses. But Meek looked more and more comfortable as the match went on, whereas Jack was slipping a little bit. So I'm interested to see how it both shakes out for game two. I mean, both players, definitely some adjustments to be made, but Meek was looking really good with those combos. We were talking about the improvisation, phenomenal.
I think that the tag does not at all describe the player nor the personality, right? I think that Meek is very brash and confident about you know, their skill, and I think the gameplay as well. And yeah, getting to see it shine, you know, on a stage, getting to see some Big Link again. You know, I mean, we're talking it into the ground, but I just love getting to see a character that is a little bit underrepresented. And I mean, kind of the same thing with Marth, right? Where I'm like, I think that something does lurk under the hood with this character, and we're just not seeing it develop. But give it another couple more years. I think that we can make some Link believers out of people.
Well, I appreciate that optimism. I don't know if we're going to need it quite, you know, for this match. Meek looks pretty confident already, but we'll see how it plays out. Like I said, Jack had a couple of good ideas, but just barely missed a couple of the combos too. Really interesting, but ooh, okay. Right
yeah,
there.
just a little get off me. And honestly, that's something that you do want to keep in mind, that counter against Link players who oftentimes they will just have a rhythm. They know, like, this is my optimal time to throw out, like, my fair one, or, you know, even that spacing right there with the fair two, and a lot of times the nair. That's what we saw get countered, and I think that Jack was definitely catching on to, okay, you want to do that safe nair, you want to knock me away, maybe set up for a tech chase. I'm not going to let you have it.
Really good corner pressure here, but Meek finding a way around with all of these extra tools. You might see the up special, or at least the threat of it, but that counter just lasting so long. Really good tool for Jack, and there it is, that up B.
Now, even though Meek is in the lead, I do want to see his adaptation to these counters, right? And particularly saying, okay, so Jack is honing in on my timing on how I'm approaching. How are you going to mix that up? When you're in the advantage, maybe you don't need to think about that too much. You just got to chase that Marth up into the sky and then do your little dash dance.
Ooh, yeah. It is pretty interesting to see. Jack is pretty good at sort of putting that pressure on, but in the disadvantage, not as advantageous, to say the least. I mean, Meek looks so comfortable. Look at these extensions.
Ended up only finishing with that jab 3. I think maybe recognizing that the timing was off on the jab resets and could actually get something super meaty. But speaking of meaty, that meaty down air coming in big. That is a Marth off stage with no jump. Meek going a little deep, can make that back and goes for the jamma, but does not connect that final hit. Referring, of course, to the DFW Link legend Gemma, who did basically only that to take every single stock. And parrying the shield breaker just to flex. Why not?
Sure, looking for maybe another 3 stock here. I like that anti-air with the tilt and the grab. Not something we saw a lot, so it's a really good mix-up right there. Finally fighting out of the corner, though. Good stuff from Jack, wrestling back that stage control.
I love the idea of using the bomb to just say, okay, you thought you were going to get a ledge trap. Now you have to suddenly adapt to ledge trapping me on the other side of the stage. Right. Even if I am still in the corner, you're going to have to quickly make that adjustment, kind of get you off your feet and uncomfortable. And Meek might be looking at a second straight 3 stock if this result holds out right now. Glancing blow to the bomb with the boomerang, which I don't think I've ever seen in my life. I didn't know that was possible. And Jack, unfortunately, dropping potentially a really big punish on that up beyond shield. That first hit comes out, and then there are no more hitboxes to be active. You can just charge up a big punish.
Right. And and the bomb actually going to be what takes that first stock for Meek. Jack in a little dash dance in as well. Going back to neutral here, and I think Jack's feeling a little more confident, which is definitely what we want to see.
Honestly, Jack has been landing a lot of tippers, too. Like, whenever he does choose to attack, the spacing has been excellent. Look out for that bomb. A phenomenal recovery with that air dodge right there, able to just thread the needle through every single bit of that barrage. Meek is trying to hunt for something stylish right now, but at 152, might even be losing your opportunity to do that.
Right, it's going to be tough right now. A lot of get-up attacks from the ledge, and if any of those get stuffed out or forward air connects, even center stage, it's going to be it. And nice, solid showing. I think that we saw a little bit more comfortability and a lot more confidence from Jack at certain points in that match. So going into the next game, if you can keep that confidence up or start at that, sort of enhanced gameplay, we can see a different game. But Meek just looks so very comfortable in advantage. It's going to be tough.
I'm wondering if Jack maybe would consider the switch to the Lucina, right? As good as the spacing has been with the Marth, I think that it does speak to the difference in those characters, and particularly that Lucina already does a really good amount of damage in this game. You can take the pressure off of yourself to try to be so precise against, again, a really solid zoning character in Link, but I admire the dedication to stick with the Marth and say, I am going to prove what this character can do. And I do especially think that changing up the stage is really important because you got to do something to get Meek feeling a little bit less comfortable.
Right, and I think you mentioned, too, the coast-to-coast bomb recoveries, kind of mixing up the defensive options for Meek. If you kind of, reduce some of the space, maybe keep it a little bit smaller, it could be a little bit easier for Jack to keep up. And to your other point about the character switch, those tippers were kind of hidden, so maybe we'll see a couple more of them in a very different Game 3 here, but so far it is the Meek show, to say the least. Ooh.
Got the bomb in hand, too. No double jump on the Marth. A little bit too aggressive with that bomb. This is a big opportunity, but not able to get the tipper on that up tilt. And again, that's just the unreliability with Marth, where with Lucina, that's an easy 30% combo. But if you're just a little bit off on your spacing, what could have been a bigger punish is now just a mere 7%.
Right. Making it back to the ledge here. Really interesting setup from Meek. Still going to work out with some good spacing and that very strong tilt from Link. Big combo opportunity here, but still decent percent. Oh, all right, calm down, Meek.
Meek is definitely continuing to move. He says, okay, I want to show off like all of the Link tech. And I also love that despite that, Meek isn't like overextending or anything, because I think he does recognize that on Jack's end, like Jack has actually had a pretty good understanding of the neutral so far in this game. It's just been a little bit of over-aggression coming out of the disadvantage and not able to capitalize super heavily when he's in the advantage. But I mean, this neutral game has actually been pretty back and forth between these two.
Yeah, and it's really just a couple of pixels on those forward smashes that are just missing for Jack. Really good ideas, but just falling a little bit short. A lot of tools to get around here. That boomerang flipping and extending the edge guard. I like that idea, but good roll on from Jack. Still going to get hit, but back to neutral. Looking pretty good.
I like the idea of that shield breaker as well, because we have seen Meek kind of hang out at that spacing quite a few times, but once again, we are going to lather, rinse, repeat with these ledge traps, unless we're forgetting about that dolphin slash right there, and Jack says, you best not forget, I'm going to continue this juggle. Corner pressure, but again, rolling away, just kind of preemptively buffering a lot of these defensive options where that should be the time to go in, and Meek is just styling right now, because why not?
I was like, oh, you can mix up the recovery, and like Meek did by just doing the same thing under the stage as opposed to above it. But finally, another fantastic hit from Jack to try and even it up, but quick response from Meek to keep that lead up 2-1 right now. Looking kind of tough, but Jack's putting some stuff together. I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, on the board finally. And again, it just comes down to we need to see more than 13% for an opening, right? When your opponent's going to be able to get a 40-50% combo with that link. Got to have more. I mean, that's one way to get more if you're able to land it. And honestly, not a bad call. Just kind of let it rip a little bit too late. But you can just see the difference in the amount of damage that gets racked up. Again, I think the neutral exchanges are actually pretty even across the board, but just the difference in who actually gets to that I'm setting up for my kill stages of the game, it is stark.
Definitely. Really good shield breaker there to try and keep that shield pressure up. Kind of working out now because we're seeing some more aggression, but oh man, I was going to say Meek was so good at getting the grabs and then barely missed one. And the bomb here is pretty threatening too at mid-range. Got to make something happen, but it's so dangerous because you cannot guess wrong. Ooh.
Wow, barely able to make that back. I guess maybe trying to be mindful of that scoop with the up B that we saw in the game one, but still hanging on, trying to catch Meek being over-aggressive in the advantage. But again, playing Link, you don't have to be. You can play at that longer spacing and not potentially have to fall into a charged smash attack.
It's so dangerous right now. Meek is looking for something to add to the combo reel, it looks like. Going for a lot of interesting options to try and set something up, but it's going to be the classic trump into back air. Meek taking it with a pretty solid 2 stock, but jackharambe can take some notes from that set, surely.